Uncovered from a dusty box of forgotten horse tack, this artifact feels like a secret from the stables. It's heavy for its size, about as big as a man's hand, crafted from thick leather and strange, rust-resistant metal. The brass fittings have a dull gleam, and a single number is stamped into the strap, 20. But this is no ordinary piece of equipment. Seasoned riders are baffled. It fits neither a standard horse's foot nor a cowboy boot. It was found amongst saddle-making tools, yet its function remains a complete mystery. What specialized purpose did this strange piece of tack serve? What you are holding is a highly specialized piece of equipment known as an action device, designed for shod hackney ponies. This breed is famous for its high-stepping, flashy gait in the show ring. The device straps around the pony's pastern, just above the hoof, and its weight, likely 20 ounces as stamped on the strap, encourages the animal to lift its knees higher, exaggerating the natural action that judges prize. This isn't a tool for the casual rider. It's a piece from the competitive world of high-level showmanship. For most equestrians, it's an invisible tool for a niche discipline, a relic of a very specific kind of equestrian perfection. Discovered lurking in the cold, silent depths of a second-hand refrigerator, this phantom part seems to have no home. It's a slender rod of black metal, measuring about 23.5 inches long, with a strange plastic insert on one side that looks like a gear. It feels solid, engineered for a purpose, yet it doesn't fit any visible shelf or slot. It's an orphan of modern appliance design. What crucial function did this mysterious metal spine once perform? What you are holding is not a forgotten accessory, but a critical component, the drive shaft for the automatic ice maker in a Samsung freezer drawer. This rod is the hidden backbone of the system. It connects to a small motor, and as it rotates, that plastic gear on the end engages with the ice tray, twisting it to release the frozen cubes into the bin. It was likely removed for a repair or dislodged during transit. Without this simple piece of metal, the convenience of modern refrigeration grinds to a halt, a quiet testament to the small, unseen parts that make our lives work. Unearthed from a salvage yard in the Bay Area, this terracotta object feels like a relic from a forgotten home. It measures 5 by 3 inches and bears a simple "Made in Mexico" stamp, a whisper of its origin. A curious indentation marks one side, a clue that has stumped its new owner. Some suggested it was for holding paper towels, but its solid, rectangular form seems all wrong for that purpose. With 7 identical pieces found, it feels less like a singular tool and more like part of a larger, mysterious installation. What architectural secret do these ceramic sentinels hold? What you are holding is one half of a pair of vintage tile-in bathroom fixtures. These were designed to be permanently set into a wall, with the unglazed base providing a firm grip for mortar. That indentation is the key. It's the cradle for a rod, either a spring-loaded one for toilet paper or a solid bar for a towel rack. Popular in mid-20th century homes, these built-in ceramic sets were a mark of quality and permanence. They vanished when the industry shifted to cheaper, screw-on metal hardware that was easier to install and replace, trading enduring craftsmanship for disposable convenience. Pulled from the dust of an old coastal estate, this peculiar instrument measures an impressive 39 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. It's crafted from a dark, dense wood, accented with polished brass that still holds a faint gleam. It weighs about 2 pounds, feeling substantial and precise in the hands. But the true puzzle lies in its mechanics. A delicate gear system at one end allows for the minute adjustment of a small brass ear. There are no numbers, no markings, just the silent mechanism. What forgotten calculations was this elegant instrument designed to make? What you are holding is a forgotten piece of maritime history, most likely an antique straight edge for nautical charting and plotting. In an era before satellites, a ship's navigator would use this on a massive paper chart to lay out their vessel's course. The gear-adjusted ear was a high-precision feature, likely used to create parallel lines or set specific offsets for complex calculations involving tides and currents. The original measurement graduations have long since worn away from decades of use. This tool became a relic with the rise of modern GPS and electronic navigation, which replaced the navigator's steady hand and mechanical ingenuity with the cold certainty of digital coordinates. Uncovered in a dusty corner of an antiques market in Japan, this curious metal object feels like a relic from another time. It measures around 30 centimeters long, with a hollow handle that feels perfectly balanced in the hand, though the passage doesn't go all the way through. At the far end sits a small chamber, protected by a hinged lid that flips open with a satisfying click. It seems designed to carry something small and precious. But what? Does anyone recognize this forgotten piece of Japanese artistry? What you have discovered is a classic Japanese gadget, a portable writing set for the traveling scholar or samurai. The ingenious design solved a major problem for centuries: how to write on the go. The hollow handle was not for ink. It was a sheath for a calligraphy brush. The small container at the end, the sumitsubo, held a piece of silk or cotton, wadding soaked in ink, preventing messy spills. Popular from medieval times through the Edo period, the gadget was rendered obsolete by the arrival of the fountain pen and later the ballpoint pen, replacing a thoughtful, artistic ritual with cold convenience. Pulled from the churning chaos of a laundry machine, this tiny black device emerges, a ghost from a forgotten pocket. It's a small plastic sentinel, its battery slot empty, its purpose seemingly erased by the wash cycle. It carries no markings, no logos, just a silent, inscrutable form that offers no clues. It feels like a piece of clandestine technology, placed in a pocket for a reason now lost to memory. What secret did this mysterious object once hold? What you are holding is a relic from the pre-smart era, a wireless key finder. Popular in the 1990s, this was the original Find My Stuff gadget. A user would press a button on a larger host remote, which sent a simple radio signal to this tag, causing it to beep or vibrate. It was an elegant solution for a common problem, but its days were numbered. The rise of powerful Bluetooth trackers like Tile, and later, the vast global networks used by Apple AirTags, made these single-purpose, limited-range finders completely obsolete. It's a fossil from a time before everything we owned was connected to the internet. This strange gift arrived wrapped in mystery, a lightweight, bright orange device that seems to defy all logic. It features 2 rubber pads, a pair of hinge points, and a comfortable hand grip. But for what purpose? It feels like a tool from a parallel dimensions kitchen, a solution to a problem we didn't know existed. It's too flimsy for heavy lifting, too specialized for any obvious task. What strange kitchen task was this peculiar tool designed for? What you are holding is a deceptively simple device known as a bowl gripper, a clever piece of modern design engineered for one task: safely lifting hot bowls from a microwave or steamer. The hinge provides the leverage, and the rubber pads create a secure, non-slip grip on the bowl's rim, allowing you to carry scalding soup with one hand, completely burn-free. While ingenious, it never truly replaced its ancient rival, the humble oven mitt. The mitt offered universal protection for any hot object, making this specialized gripper a clever, but ultimately non-essential gadget in most kitchen drawers. Pulled from a box of discarded electronics, this artifact feels like a relic from a very recent, yet forgotten, future. Its body is a stark combination of red and black plastic, fitting snugly in the palm of a hand. It's powered by 3 Saito-808 batteries, suggesting a purpose that required untethered freedom. But the true enigma is this curious loop at the top, almost like a handle, yet too small for any adult hand to grip properly. The side buttons are silent, their function lost. What was this strange device meant to control? What you are holding is a gateway to the skies, a controller for a motion-activated drone. This design represents a brief, creative chapter from the consumer drone boom of the last decade. The loop isn't a handle, it's a sensor gauntlet. You slide your hand through it, and the device translates every tilt and gesture into flight commands, allowing you to pilot the drone with a wave of your hand. This intuitive, almost magical interface was a novel idea, but it was ultimately a fleeting one. The demand for more precise, professional-style dual-stick remotes and the convenience of smartphone apps quickly made this unique design a fascinating but obsolete piece of toy history. Discovered in a dusty box from an old estate sale, these polished brass medallions, each about 2 to 3 inches across, carry the weight of a forgotten time. They were found nestled amongst vintage serving dishes, an odd pairing that only deepens the puzzle. Each piece has a loop, as if meant for a ceremonial ribbon, and bears a distinctly English design. They feel like awards for some unknown achievement, silent monuments to a lost tradition. What forgotten history do these heavy brass emblems represent? What you have discovered are known as English horse brasses, once a proud decoration for the harnesses of working horses. These were not mere trinkets. They were a symbol of the owner's pride, status, and sometimes even their trade, polished to a brilliant shine and strapped to the leather martingale across the horse's chest. Their popularity peaked in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, just before the world turned its back on horse-drawn power. As the automobile replaced the cart and carriage, these brasses vanished from the streets, becoming collectible relics and classic decorations hung from the rafters of nearly every pub in England, a nostalgic echo of a bygone era. Pulled from the grease-stained drawer of a forgotten toolbox, this old craftsman tool feels like a relic from the golden age of American steel. It's made of heavy, galvanized metal with a knurled knob that turns with a satisfying mechanical purpose. As you twist it, two uniquely shaped jaws separate, reaching out as if to grab something specific, something now lost to time. It's clearly some kind of spreader, but what phantom part of an old engine was this designed to tame? What you have discovered is a classic valve spring compressor, a design patented on December 5, 1950 by H.W. Culp. This was an indispensable tool for any serious auto mechanic of the era. The two jaws were perfectly shaped to hook onto the coils of an engine's valve spring. Twisting the knob would compress the powerful spring, allowing a mechanic to remove the keepers and service the cylinder head. While the principle remains, this specific, robust design faded from common use as engines became more compact, with overhead cams that required new, more specialized tools, leaving this hefty instrument a testament to a more hands-on era of car repair. Pulled from the hay-dusted shadows of an old barn, this mechanical relic tells a silent story of hard labor. It's a heavy metal contraption, permanently bolted to a splintered length of wood. The design centers on a strange ball joint, governed by a lever that once tightened its grip with immense force. The entire assembly is bent, a permanent scar from a powerful final struggle. What secret purpose did this broken arm once serve on the farm? This is a forgotten piece of history, the pitman latch from a Farmall Cub sickle bar mower. This latch was the critical joint connecting the tractor's power to the cutting blades. The pitman, a long wooden arm, would attach here, converting the spinning of a flywheel into the ferocious back-and-forth action that sliced through fields of hay. These systems, common from the 1940s onward, were ingenious but brittle. If the mower blade hit a rock, the wooden pitman arm would often snap, or this very latch would bend, acting as a mechanical fuse to save the expensive tractor engine. Today, hydraulic systems and rotary mowers have made this clever but fragile piece of engineering completely obsolete. Discovered in the cold, murky water of a basement wash tub, this small, black plastic object holds a stubborn secret. Though completely waterlogged, a single light pulsed from within its sealed case, shifting from a steady red to an occasional green. On its surface, a cryptic symbol, a lock, clearly in the open position. It's a modern relic, out of place and out of time, still performing a duty long after its purpose seems to have been washed away. What silent alarm was this device meant to trigger? What you are holding is a common anti-theft device for clothing, a silent guardian of the retail world. This security tag contains a small transmitter designed to set off an alarm at a store's exit. The persistent blinking light indicates its internal battery is still active, broadcasting its status. The unlock symbol marks the spot where a powerful, specialized magnet at the checkout counter would release the pin holding it to a garment. This one clearly hitched a ride home by mistake, a tiny piece of commercial surveillance that found its way into the forgotten corners of a home. Its light a final, lonely plea for a mission it can no longer complete. This tiny blue artifact was found on the cold asphalt, glinting near the employee entrance of a sprawling car manufacturing plant. It weighs less than a single gram, a feather-light piece of plastic in a world of heavy steel. Its smooth, molded shape seems deliberate, and a small, precise hole at one end suggests it connects to something larger. Discarded and forgotten, it lays like a clue from an industrial crime scene. What purpose could this minuscule object possibly serve in such a massive operation? This is not a piece of a car, but a component of the gear that protects the workers who build them. You have found the terminal cap for a corded, disposable foam earplug. That tiny hole is where the plastic cord connects, linking a pair of earplugs together so they don't get lost in the chaos of the factory floor. This object tells a story of modern manufacturing, where protection is paramount, but also disposable. Every day, countless thousands of these are used and then simply thrown away, unseen witnesses to the thunderous noise of progress. This curious little contraption, measuring just over 1 1/3 inches, turned up in a golf-themed advent calendar. It's a modern puzzle made of molded plastic, with a spring-loaded mechanism that reveals 2 small prongs. The 3 screws on its base suggest it's meant to be mounted, but to what? It's far too small to hold a golf ball or a cigar, leaving its function a complete mystery. What problem was this tiny gadget designed to solve out on the green? What you have discovered is a golfer's ball retriever, a clever accessory designed for convenience. The 3 screws are used to mount this device directly onto the top of a putter's grip. After sinking a putt, the golfer can simply turn the club over, press the device down onto the ball in the cup, and the spring-loaded prongs will snap shut, grabbing it. This simple mechanism saves a player from bending over to retrieve their ball. While not a piece of ancient history, it represents a modern shift towards ergonomic aids and specialized gadgets, replacing the simple act of bending down with a purpose-built tool. It's a small solution to a common ache for dedicated players. Unearthed from a kitchen drawer untouched since 1947, this peculiar tool feels like a relic from another time. It has the substantial heft of solid cast iron and the worn comfort of a wooden handle, suggesting years of dedicated use. The immediate thought is a branding iron, a way to mark one's property. But the mystery deepens when you see the bottom. It's perfectly flat, smooth, and featureless. It wasn't made to leave a mark, but for something else entirely. What forgotten culinary secret does this heavy, flat-faced iron hold? What you have discovered is a classic crème brûlée iron, also known as a kitchen salamander. This was the original professional tool for creating the dessert's signature caramelized sugar crust. The heavy iron disc would be heated directly on a stovetop until it was scorching hot. It was then held just over the sugar-coated custard, and the intense, radiant heat would instantly transform the granules into a flawless, glassy sheet of caramel without heating the cream beneath. This cumbersome method was eventually rendered obsolete by the invention of the small, precise, and much more convenient kitchen blowtorch, leaving this beautiful piece of culinary history behind. This delicate porcelain puzzle, standing just 4.5 inches tall by 3 inches wide, was a gift from a great aunt. Its purpose, a secret she took to the grave. Its surface is adorned with hand-painted chrysanthemums, but its function is a mystery. Inside, beneath a matching lid, are 2 small, removable plates. On the bottom, 3 strange holes that lead nowhere. It seems too intricate for simple jewelry, too small for any real treasure. What forgotten daily ritual did this beautiful object serve? What you are holding is a mid-century Japanese porcelain cigarette box. This was once a common and elegant piece of social decor. The main compartment held the cigarettes, while the 2 small, removable plates served as personal ashtrays for a host and a guest. The mysterious holes on the bottom are simply marks from the stilts used to hold it in the kiln during firing. As the culture around smoking dramatically shifted from a sophisticated ritual to a health concern, these ornate sets were tucked away, their purpose fading from memory as indoor smoking itself became a relic of the past. They appeared without warning, scattered across the driveway like some strange alien flora. These bizarre white and orange blobs, splattered from a sudden impact, measure anywhere from 1 to a few inches across. The pattern suggests they fell from a height, but the source remains a complete mystery. The case took a turn when a neighbor discovered the exact same residue in her yard. What force could leave behind such a peculiar, colorful calling card? What you are looking at is the ghost of a modern skirmish, the remnants of common paintballs. Each splatter was once a small gelatin capsule filled with water-soluble, non-toxic paint. Fired from a specialized marker, these projectiles burst on impact, leaving their telltale mark. The reason they seem so mysterious and then vanish is entirely by design. The paint is engineered to wash away with the first good rain, leaving no permanent evidence of the weekend battle that likely raged through the neighborhood, a fleeting echo of a game. It began with an invisible threat, a brand new air purifier screaming a warning, claiming the air was suddenly foul. A search led to the heart of the house, the old boiler room, where this small, heavy iron plate was found lying on the floor amidst a pile of rotted debris. It bears a cryptic marking, L6, and carries the cold heft of a forgotten era. It seems to have broken free from the chimney wall, leaving a gaping hole into the unknown. What is this forgotten portal, and could it be the source of the poison in the air? What you have discovered is a chimney access cleanout door, a critical but often neglected part of an older home's heating system. This small door provides access to the base of the flue, allowing for the removal of dangerous soot and debris. In many older homes, the original masonry chimney was repurposed to vent a modern boiler. When this cast iron seal broke off, it compromised the entire exhaust system, allowing hazardous flue gases and particulate matter to leak directly into your living space. This isn't a relic made obsolete by technology, but a vital safety component that became a liability through simple neglect. Unearthed from a forgotten tomb of sawdust at the bottom of an old tool chest, this stark orange artifact measures 14 inches in length. It's molded from a dense, unforgiving plastic, with a peculiar taper from 3/4 of an inch down to a 1/4 inch, ending in a sharp, beveled edge. 4 stoic bolts stand guard along its spine, their purpose a complete mystery. It feels like a crucial component to some lost machine, a guide for a forgotten process. What secret of the workshop does this object hold? What you have discovered is a Ryobi AP10 planar blade sharpening guide. This wasn't just a piece of plastic. It was a precision instrument from an era of meticulous tool care. A woodworker would clamp a dull planar blade into the jig using those very bolts. The tiny raised tabs at each end allowed the entire assembly to glide perfectly across a sharpening stone, ensuring a consistent, factory-sharp angle every single time. This clever jig has faded into obscurity for one simple reason: convenience. As cheap, disposable carbide blades flooded the market, the patient art of sharpening steel by hand was replaced by the simple act of throwing the old blade away. This guide is a relic from a time when tools were partners to be maintained for a lifetime, not consumables to be replaced. Found dangling in the engine bay like a forgotten secret, this strange mechanical appendage was attached to nothing. It has the look of a precision instrument with a pressure gauge, a small chain, and a distinct conical green stopper at its base. It's a heavy, well-made piece of equipment, but it seems to have no place in the organized chaos under the hood. It was simply left behind, a ghost in the machine. What was this mysterious device left behind by some phantom mechanic? What you have discovered is not a part of your car, but a tool from a mechanic's arsenal, a radiator pressure tester. This device is used to diagnose invisible leaks in a vehicle's cooling system. A technician attaches it to the radiator opening, pumps it with air, and watches the gauge. If the pressure drops, it's a sure sign of a hidden crack or a failing gasket. This tool wasn't made obsolete. It was simply forgotten by a mechanic after a service. A costly mistake for the garage, but a solved mystery for you. It's a rare glimpse at the diagnostic tools that keep our modern machines from failing. Found lurking on the floor of a truck, this small black object seems curiously out of place. It's made of a dense, flexible rubber with a series of precise ridges molded into its surface. The obvious guess points to a child's car seat, a missing piece of some vital safety gear. But a frantic search online, even using the part number stamped on its side, yields nothing. It's a ghost in the machine, a component without a home. What critical piece of modern hardware is this the missing foot for? This is not a part from a car seat, but a forgotten piece from a far more common accessory. What you have discovered is the rubber foot from a WeatherTech phone mount. This small, unassuming piece is the key to the entire design. Its flexible ridges are meant to expand inside a vehicle's cup holder, creating a firm, vibration-free grip to keep a phone steady. These parts are designed to be invisible, doing their job in silence until they are inevitably knocked loose and lost, becoming anonymous bits of rubber that are almost impossible to identify once separated from their source. A true ghost part of the modern age. Pulled from the dark confines of a backpack unused for years, this lightweight plastic artifact feels like a fragment of a forgotten puzzle. Its form is rigid and specific, with an enigmatic curve, concave on one face, convex on the other. It was clearly designed to attach to something much larger, a ghost of a machine or a lost tool. What piece of our recent past does this strange object belong to? What you are holding is a detachable handle from a reusable amusement park souvenir cup. This is a small piece of a specific consumer era. The mechanism was straightforward. The curved plastic would snap firmly onto the side of a large, themed soda cup, offering a comfortable grip for a day of walking the park. These handles were ubiquitous in the 1990s and 2000s, but were easily misplaced or separated from their primary vessel. As souvenir designs evolved towards integrated handles and sleeker forms, this detachable style became a relic, an orphaned component from 1,000 forgotten summer vacations. Pulled from the soil of a lonely field in Hopewell, New Jersey, this hollow metal object feels like a whisper from the past. Found near old train tracks and historic battlefields, one might assume it's a piece of forgotten ammunition. It's surprisingly lightweight, shaped like a small canister, with a delicate engraved insignia we had to dust with flour to reveal. It's an artifact caught between worlds, too elegant for war, too mysterious for common use. What secret was this small metal vessel designed to hold? What you have discovered is a lost piece of everyday elegance, an antique push-up lipstick tube made by the legendary cosmetics house, Coty. Popular in the early 20th century, its mechanism was simple. A push from the bottom revealed the color, a far cry from today's twist-up tubes. These were crafted from durable metals, designed to be refilled and treasured for years. The rise of disposable consumer culture and cheaper plastic manufacturing after World War II made these beautiful permanent cases obsolete, replacing enduring craftsmanship with fleeting convenience. It arrived as an unexpected gift from a flower shop, a small token with a heavy presence. This object is shaped like a delicate feather, yet it's cold and hard to the touch, like a shard of polished obsidian. Its surface is a chaotic swirl of deep reds, browns, and black, shot through with an unsettling coppery glitter that catches the dim light. It feels less like a decoration and more like an artifact with a hidden story. Is this just a curious piece of modern art, or is it a relic tied to something far more ancient and unseen? Put your fears to rest. What you are holding is a modern artisan creation known as a decorative resin feather. This is a product of craft, not witchcraft. Artists mix liquid epoxy resin with various pigments and glitters, pouring the shimmering concoction into a feather-shaped silicone mold. Once it cures, it hardens into this durable, stone-like ornament. These have become incredibly popular in recent years because they offer an inexpensive and endlessly customizable alternative to fragile or expensive materials. It's a triumph of modern chemistry, designed for gift bags and keychains, replacing ancient superstitions with simple, decorative charm. Unearthed from a forgotten box of Montessori school supplies, this object feels like a relic from a different kind of lesson. It's molded from a hard, lightweight plastic, its strange Y shape defined by deep grooves running along its sides. There are no markings, no instructions, just this peculiar, purpose-built form that seems like it should open, but resists with the threat of snapping. It was found amongst felt and floss, a silent plastic enigma. What fluffy secret was this strange tool designed to create? What you are holding is a classic pom-pom maker, a clever device for creating perfect, fluffy yarn spheres. The ingenuity is in its simplicity. Yarn is wrapped tightly and repeatedly around the grooved arms. Once the bundle is thick enough, another piece of yarn is tied securely around the middle, and a pair of scissors is run through the grooves to snip all the loops at once. The tool then separates to release a perfectly formed pom-pom. These specialized plastic forms have largely been forgotten, replaced by cheaper disposable DIY methods using cardboard circles or even a simple dinner fork. A classic case where a purpose-built tool was made obsolete by clever, everyday hacks. This strange little contraption, with its cryptic dial and polished chrome finish, feels like a relic from a smoky, long-forgotten bar. It's too small to be a major piece of plumbing, yet it's built with a satisfying mechanical heft. The patent number, 3,419,187, is clearly engraved, a silent clue to its hidden past. It seems designed to attach to something, to control a flow, but of what? What secret did this pocket-sized machine hold? What you are holding is a brilliant piece of mid-century bar technology, patented in 1968 as a device for measuring, registering, and pouring. This clever valve would be fitted onto a liquor bottle, allowing a bartender to set a precise pour amount with the dial, say 1 perfect ounce for a cocktail. When tipped, it dispensed that exact amount and then automatically shut off, while also registering each pour on an internal counter for inventory. These ingenious devices were ultimately replaced by simpler plastic spouts and modern electronic systems, trading their clockwork precision for the silent efficiency of the digital age. Discovered high atop a bathroom cabinet, this bowl of strange, cotton ball-sized fragments presents a baffling domestic mystery. They are powdery to the touch, crumbling into a fine dust with the slightest pressure. An almost imperceptible sweetness hangs in the air around them, but a deep inhale reveals almost no scent at all. They sit like a clue in a case with no crime, placed in a location no one remembers, with no explanation. What are these mysterious formations, forgotten in the humid quiet of a bathroom? What you have discovered is the ghostly remains of forgotten bath bombs. A bath bomb's magic comes from the violent chemical reaction between baking soda and citric acid when dropped in water. Left abandoned in the humid air of a bathroom, however, a much slower process took place. Ambient moisture slowly disintegrated its structure, and the volatile essential oils that give a bath bomb its potent fragrance simply evaporated over time. What remains is this odorless, powdery husk, the chalky skeleton of a once vibrant, fragrant sphere, its purpose lost to time and chemistry. Found on countless modern backpacks, this small plastic nib seems like nothing more than a manufacturing detail. It sits silently on the chest strap clip, a tiny protrusion with no obvious purpose. It doesn't move, it doesn't clip onto anything, and most people who own one have never given it a second thought. It's a feature hidden in plain sight. What life-saving secret could this tiny piece of molded plastic be hiding? This is not a simple piece of plastic. It's a cleverly integrated survival whistle. Designed for emergencies, you create a powerful high-decibel signal by blowing through the opening. This feature became standard on outdoor gear in the late 20th century, replacing the separate, bulky metal whistles that could easily be lost or tangled. It's a perfect example of how essential safety equipment evolved from a separate tool into a seamless, almost invisible part of the gear itself, waiting silently until the day it's needed to call for help. Uncovered in the back of a forgotten medicine cabinet, these 3-inch amber rods look like something out of a detective's evidence box. They're fashioned from an incredibly hard, unyielding plastic, almost like petrified resin, and are banded together as if they are part of a single, cryptic mechanism. Each rod is flattened on one side, a deliberate detail that only deepens the puzzle. What mundane, everyday task required such a peculiar instrument? What you are holding is a vintage toothpaste tube squeezer, a ghost from an era of thrift. Before the age of soft plastics, toothpaste came in pliable metal tubes that held their shape. You would slide this device onto the bottom of the tube and slowly roll it forward, ensuring not a single drop was wasted. It was a simple, yet brilliant tool born from a waste not, want not mentality. The squeezer vanished from our bathrooms for two reasons. Modern plastic tubes simply spring back, rendering the roller useless, and we entered an age of convenience, where the idea of saving that last gram of product became a forgotten art. Mounted 6 feet high on a forgotten wall, this strange metal bracket is a ghost from another time. Discovered in a house built in the 1980s, its stark, utilitarian design offers no clues to its purpose. It's too robust for a simple shelf, too awkwardly placed for a light fixture. It stands like a silent sentinel, waiting for an object that was removed long ago, leaving only this cryptic piece of hardware behind. What forgotten technology did this mysterious perch once support? What you have discovered is a classic speaker mount, a relic from the golden age of 1980s home audio. In an era before sound bars and wireless Bluetooth, massive, wood-paneled bookshelf speakers were a symbol of pride. This sturdy metal arm was designed to hoist those heavy speakers high on the wall, creating the ultimate stereo soundscape for a living room. As technology evolved, audio systems shrank, becoming smaller, sleeker, and eventually invisible within wall installations. These oversized mounts became obsolete, a testament to a time when your sound system was meant to be seen and heard. Pulled from the depths of a dusty toolbox, this strange steel rod feels like a key to an unknown lock. It measures a precise 21.5 inches long, with a diameter of 3/8 of an inch. Its most curious feature is the end, a half-inch slot cut through the metal, with a small hole drilled perpendicularly as if to hold a pin. It's a tool with no obvious handle, no clear function, just a stark, minimalist design that hints at a very specific job. What precise task required such a peculiar instrument? What you are holding is a window balance tension tool, a specialized instrument for a task now largely forgotten by homeowners. This tool was essential for servicing older windows that use spiral balances, a type of spring mechanism that helps lift the heavy sash. The slotted end hooks onto a pin inside the balance, allowing a technician to carefully wind the internal spring to the perfect tension. Too loose, and the window slams shut. Too tight, and it's impossible to close. With the rise of modern, pre-calibrated vinyl windows and different balance systems, the need for this manual, skilled adjustment has faded, turning this once critical tool into a curious relic of home repair history. They arrived as a cryptic Christmas gift. 2 matching objects, each about 2 feet long and wrapped in soft, padded foam. They feel lightweight, but structurally solid, a strange combination of comfort and strength. Near the handles, small press buttons click with a satisfying mechanical sound, allowing the total length to shift by a single, precise inch. There were no logos, no instructions, just these 2 identical puzzling rods. Were they a specialized tool for an obscure trade or something else entirely? What you have discovered are versatile home workout bars, a modern answer to the age-old pursuit of fitness. The padded foam provides a comfortable grip for exercises like push-ups and planks, while the adjustable length mechanism allows the user to subtly change the difficulty and target different muscle groups. These didn't replace a single older tool. Instead, they represent a complete shift away from the massive, ironclad gym machines of the 20th century. Their minimalist, lightweight design is a product of the modern era's demand for compact, multifunctional equipment that can be used and stored in any home, effectively moving the gym out of the warehouse and into the living room. Pulled from a dusty corner of an estate sale, this enigmatic vessel seems to defy its own purpose. It presents itself as a lamp, with a thick fabric wick rising from an oily depth within its dark glass base. But look closer. The wick forms a strange loop, descending back into the very liquid it draws from. It feels less like a source of light and more like part of a forgotten ceremony. What kind of perpetual flame was this designed to hold? What you have discovered is a catalytic fragrance lamp, a forgotten technology famously produced under the brand name Lampe Berger. Patented in 1898 by a French pharmacist to purify hospital air, its genius lies not in providing light, but in cleansing the room. The wick soaks a perfumed liquid up to a porous stone, which you light for 2 minutes and then blow out. The heated stone continues a flameless combustion, destroying odors and dispersing scent. These elegant, ritualistic devices were eventually overshadowed by the rise of cheap, passive air fresheners and plugins, trading a piece of refined engineering for disposable convenience. Pulled from the dust of a forgotten drawer, these small, cool blocks of glass feel like relics from another time. Each one is heavy for its size, with a cryptic motto carefully etched into its surface. The script is elegant, but puzzlingly, it's written in reverse. They seem too small for a paperweight, too ornate for a simple decoration. What message were these meant to leave behind? What you are holding are antique glass motto seals, popular personal items from the 18th and 19th centuries. Before the age of self-sealing envelopes, letters were secured with a blob of hot wax. This seal, with its reversed text, was pressed firmly into the wax to leave a perfect, readable impression of a popular phrase or a personal motto. It was a sign of thoughtfulness and class. The invention of gummed envelopes in the late 19th century made this elegant ritual obsolete, replacing a personal touch with industrial convenience. This small plastic disc, barely 2 inches in diameter, was found scattered on the floor after paramedics rushed from the scene of an emergency. It's feather-light, almost insignificant, yet its presence feels heavy with untold stories. It looks like a simple cap or a lid, but it was left behind in a moment of crisis, a piece of refuse from a life-saving effort. What critical piece of equipment did this simple plastic object once protect? What you're looking at is the protective cover for a disposable electrode pad, a vital component of a modern electrocardiogram or EKG machine. Each disc shields a sterile adhesive gel pad that allows EMTs to monitor a patient's heart activity. In an emergency, these covers are ripped off and discarded in seconds to ensure a clean connection to the skin. Their disposability is their design. They represent a modern medical system built on speed, sterility, and single-use components, a far cry from the reusable equipment of the past. They are the fleeting, forgotten footprints of an urgent medical intervention. Pulled from the unlikely depths of a Christmas cake box, we have this strange, opaque green disc. It feels industrial, a piece of a machine, yet it was found hidden away like a forgotten toy. It has a peculiar, asymmetrical shape, with 4 holes, 2 small, 2 large, and a single date stamped into its surface, 1999. It's a puzzle from the turn of the millennium, a factory component that somehow ended its life in a place of holiday sweets. What was this mysterious object's true purpose? What you have discovered is a master template used to shape spectacle lenses on an automatic grinding machine. This disc was the blueprint. Bolted to a spindle with a blank lens, it would spin slowly, guiding the lens against grinding wheels to carve out the perfect shape. The first pass created the outline, and a second pass would add the crucial bevel that locks the lens securely into a frame. This physical template system, common in workshops of the late 20th century, was made obsolete by technology. Today, lens grinding is almost entirely digital, with computer-controlled cutters that no longer need a physical guide, leaving artifacts like this one as ghosts of a more analog era. Perched high above the intersections of Albuquerque, a strange new sentinel has appeared. It's a large, impersonal box, bolted to the city's lampposts. But it's the light that catches your eye, a brilliant, pulsing LED that flashes with an unnerving rhythm, cutting through the day and night. It feels less like a piece of city infrastructure and more like something watching, waiting. What silent watch is this device keeping over the city streets? What you are looking at is a modern reality, a city surveillance camera. These devices are being installed in metropolitan areas across the country. The powerful, flashing LED serves a dual purpose. It confirms the unit is operational and acts as a very visible deterrent to would-be criminals. Its presence marks a significant shift in urban life, replacing the anonymity of the past with a network of ever-watchful electronic eyes. This isn't a forgotten tool. It's a sign of a new era of observation, where the lamppost does more than just light the way. This mysterious disc was discovered amongst family heirlooms, a relic from a life long past. It measures 6 inches in diameter, and its 190-gram weight feels solid, almost ceremonial. The surface is clouded by a heavy, dark tarnish, and its edges bear the scars of time. While some might mistake it for a simple ashtray, the faint, intricate patterns, hidden beneath the grime, hint at a far more elegant origin. What forgotten piece of artistry has been hiding in plain sight for all these years? What you have discovered is a Japanese relief plate, likely from the historic Meiji period, which lasted from 1868 to 1912. This object had no mechanical function. Its sole purpose was decorative, a canvas for master metalworkers to display their incredible skill. During this era, Japan opened to the West, and ornate pieces like this were highly sought-after exports. The reason they've become such rare finds is simple. The age of handcrafted, intricate art gave way to mass production and changing decorative tastes, replacing detailed metalwork with simpler, cheaper items. You are holding a small, beautiful fragment from a bygone age of craftsmanship. Unearthed from the dusty corner of a vintage shop, this peculiar wooden artifact stands 2.5 feet tall. Its hand-painted surface presents a strange dialogue, a back and forth between his and hers that feels like a riddle from another time. The parallel statements seem to mock each other, a commentary on gender roles whose meaning has been lost to time. Below the cryptic text, 2 empty circular slots suggest something is missing, 2 key pieces to solving this bizarre puzzle. What kind of strange game or social commentary was this, and what was meant to fill its empty heart? What you have discovered is a novelty piggy bank, a gag gift likely intended for newlyweds in the mid-20th century. The mystery is solved by imagining 2 clear tubes, now long lost, inserted into those slots. Coins would be dropped in, filling the tubes and creating a visual tally of savings under each column of text. The baffling phrases were a clumsy attempt at a joke about spending habits. These banks vanished from shelves simply because the humor was confusing and specific to an era of folksy gags. Stripped of its coin tubes, the object becomes what you see now, a silent, incomprehensible piece of social history. This arrived without a note, a silent message in a box. It's a single, crystalline rectangle of glass, cold to the touch, with one mysterious hole drilled near the top. To a musician, it almost resembles the head joint of a flute, but it produces no sound. It's too clean for a tool, too strange for mere decoration. It just sits there, an enigma sent from a religious mother, its purpose locked within its transparent walls. What secret is this glass object designed to hold? What you have discovered is a modern piece of minimalist design known as a flute vase. Its purpose is one of quiet, singular elegance. It is designed to lie flat on a table, holding just a small amount of water for a single flower bloom, turning one stem into an entire centerpiece. This design philosophy stands in stark contrast to the large, elaborate bouquets of older generations. Instead of celebrating abundance, it focuses on the beauty of a single, perfect object. It has not vanished. Rather, it represents a modern shift away from ornate decoration towards a simpler, more focused aesthetic. Hidden behind a row of forgotten novels, inside a bookcase built in 1912, lies this strange little artifact. A small, unassuming piece of plastic and metal, it feels like a secret waiting to be told. There are no buttons, no dials, no visible moving parts, just a single metallic contact point. It's a ghost in the machine, a component that seems far too modern for its century-old surroundings. What silent command was this device waiting to receive? What you have discovered is a touch-sensitive light switch, a piece of late 20th century technology hiding in an early 20th century home. It was almost certainly installed decades after the house was built to control a small accent light for the bookshelf. The mechanism was seen as futuristic for its time. It works by sensing the natural electrical capacitance of the human body. A simple touch on the metal plate completes a circuit, toggling a light on or off. This type of switch became popular in the 1980s and 90s, but has since been largely replaced by smart bulbs and remote controls, leaving these elegant, simple sensors as relics of a bygone vision of the future. Staring up from the sterile silence of a classroom that doubles as a tornado shelter, a strange pattern breaks the grid of acoustic tiles. 4 emerald green lights glow with an unnerving stillness, arranged like a miniature landing strip. They don't flash like an alarm or pulse like a status indicator. They just watch, a silent, high-tech presence in an otherwise ordinary room. Is this some kind of advanced emergency beacon for first responders? Or is something else listening in from the ceiling? What you're looking at is not a safety device, but a sophisticated piece of audio technology known as a Sennheiser Team Connect ceiling microphone. Those green lights are the key. They indicate the direction of the active speaker using what's called beamforming technology to automatically focus on whoever is talking. The device is a microphone array designed to capture crystal clear audio from anywhere in a room without the need for handhelds. It became a state-of-the-art solution for modern conference rooms and lecture halls, replacing the clutter of older visible microphones with something seamless and almost invisible. It's a piece of tech so discreet, it's often mistaken for the very thing it was designed to replace: simple infrastructure. Spotted on the roads of eastern Canada, a curious sight hangs from the underbelly of this otherwise ordinary SUV. A simple metal bucket, not fixed in place, but swinging precariously with every turn and bump in the road. It's not part of any standard exhaust system or a piece of rugged off-road gear. It seems almost deliberately placed, yet its purpose is a complete enigma. Is this some kind of bizarre, homespun repair, or a piece of equipment forgotten after a mysterious job? What baffling purpose could this swinging metal pail possibly serve? What you have discovered is not an automotive part, but a forgotten piece of backyard leisure, a grease collection bucket from a Traeger brand smoker. Its intended purpose is to hook onto the side of the grill and catch the hot drippings from slow-cooked meats, a simple but essential task. The mystery of its placement is likely a simple case of forgetfulness. The owner probably finished a barbecue, unhooked the messy bucket, and hung it on the trailer hitch or undercarriage for the ride home, only to drive off with it still attached. A modern mystery solved not by a mechanic, but by a pitmaster. Discovered amidst the chrome and checkered tiles of a Five Guys, this strange object was left behind on a table. It's a smooth, amber-colored tube, about 6 inches in length, feeling light and hollow. One end is a clean, open circle, while the other is molded into a specific shape, as if a missing piece once sealed it shut. It looks manufactured, precise, yet its purpose is a complete blank. What was this strange cylinder designed to hold? What you are holding is the hollow shell of a common artist's tool, a dual-ended marker. This amber casing once housed a felt core, saturated with ink. One end would have featured a fine point for detail work, while the other held a broad chisel tip for filling in color, each protected by a cap. This object isn't ancient, it's a modern relic of disposability. Once the ink ran dry and its caps were lost, the core was discarded, leaving behind this anonymous plastic husk, a modern fossil that has completely lost its original context. For 2 years, this strange wooden lattice has been a silent observer in the kitchen, a constant, nagging puzzle mounted to the wall. Its parallel boards seem designed for a specific task, yet they offer no clue. It's a skeleton of a device, a framework with a missing soul, hinting at a function that time has erased. What forgotten purpose did this skeletal frame once serve in the heart of the home? What you're looking at is the ghost of a once proud pot rack. This is a classic kitchen organization system, now missing its most vital components, the long metal hooks. These hooks would slide over the wooden slats, allowing heavy pots, pans, and utensils to hang freely, always within the chef's reach. Popular in farmhouse and professional kitchens for decades, this style of open storage has slowly been replaced by the modern preference for concealed cabinets and deep drawers. Without its hooks, it has become a relic of a time when the tools of the trade were meant to be seen. Uncovered in a box of cherished holiday decorations, this charming nativity scene holds a peculiar secret. Among the familiar figures of shepherds and wise men is the small, unassuming wheelbarrow, its purpose a mystery. Inside rests a strange cargo, a collection of colorful ovoid objects. They almost resemble Easter eggs, a detail that feels like a page torn from the wrong story, an anachronism in this sacred tableau. It's a detail easily missed, yet once seen, it begs the question, what strange offering was being brought to the manger that night? This is not an error, but a beautiful and often overlooked piece of cultural tradition. What you are looking at is a wheelbarrow carrying fruits. In many cultures, particularly in parts of Europe and Latin America, the nativity scene incorporates local customs, and bringing the first fruits of the harvest was a common offering to honor the birth of the Christ child. It symbolizes giving the best of the earth's bounty as a gift of devotion. This charming detail has largely been lost in mass-produced nativity sets, which favor the more universally known story of the Magi's treasures, replacing a humble gesture with a tale of kings. Pulled from the damp soil of an East Tennessee front yard, this grim artifact speaks of a violent past. It weighs a staggering 30 pounds, two solid iron spheres locked onto a heavy chain by crude central bolts. The rust is deep, a testament to the decades it has spent buried, waiting. It feels less like a tool and more like an instrument of pure, brutal force. What forgotten conflict does this menacing object belong to? What you have discovered is a genuine piece of military ordnance called chain shot. This terrifying projectile was fired from a cannon where the two balls would spin wildly through the air, connected by the chain. Its original purpose at sea was to act as a massive, flying scythe, shredding the sails and rigging of enemy ships to render them helpless. As you are in a region that saw heavy fighting, this artifact almost certainly dates to the American Civil War. As warfare evolved, with rifled barrels and explosive shells that demanded greater accuracy and distance, the wild, unpredictable chain shot was cast aside, a relic of a more savage form of battle. This cryptic steel rod, measuring just under 4 inches, feels cold and purposeful in the hand. Its surface is smooth, save for a finely knurled grip at one end, suggesting it was meant for careful handling. A subtle indentation marks its tip, a clue so small it's almost a secret. It answers the call of a magnet, proving its ferrous heart, but offers no other hints to its identity. What secret mechanism was this pin designed to hold together, or take apart? What you have discovered is a simple, yet crucial, hinge pin from a low-security combination safe. This wasn't just a pivot, it was the lock's secret weakness. The knurled end provided just enough friction to keep it from falling out during normal use, but it also offered a grip for a pair of pliers. For those who forgot their combination, a thin screwdriver could push this pin out, allowing the entire door to be removed, a design flaw that turned a security device into a simple puzzle box. This style of exposed, removable pin has been largely abandoned in favor of concealed or welded hinges, a quiet admission that sometimes the simplest part of a machine is its most critical vulnerability. This peculiar set of blue plastic objects emerged from the chaos of a white elephant gift exchange, leaving everyone stumped. The main circular piece fits perfectly in the palm of a hand, its shape suggesting it's meant to be turned or pulled with force. The other components look like they should slot into some larger assembly, but without their mechanical host, they're just abstract shapes. They feel modern, yet their specific function is a complete mystery. What machine were these strange blue levers designed to control? What you are holding is not some obscure gadget, but a very specific piece of automotive hardware, a set of original factory seat adjustment handles for a Jeep Wrangler. The large circular handle is the recliner lever, and the smaller pieces control the forward and backward slide of the seat. These parts often become orphaned when owners upgrade their vehicles with custom aftermarket seats or more rugged accessories. So, while the design isn't obsolete, finding them detached from their vehicle turns them into a modern mystery. What was the weirdest object for you? Let me know in the comments and share this to test your friends. If you love uncovering these mysteries, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us find more curious explorers like you. Stay curious.